Welcome back to the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM. It's time for us to have a look at the River Murray Netball Association. Pat Brown is on the line with me to recap a chaotic weekend of finals and to look ahead to a big prelim this weekend. How's it going, Pat?
Good, thanks, dear. How are you?
I'm going well, thank you. I'm eager to hear more because I've heard some rumblings that there was... I think chaos would be the right word for it. Others might use a different word or a different set of words that we can't say on air, but let's get straight into this qualifying final. The Mallee Storm get their third win for the year over the Imperials, 49-42. They're the only team who have beaten the Imperials all year. So the Storm, the bogey team for the Imps, they go straight through to the grand final, and the Imps will have to do things the hard way. And Pat, I'm told that they're going to have to do things the very hard way after what was a rough qualifying final between two teams who seem to not like each other very much.
Yeah, I think you're a bit right there, Dan. I'm not too sure exactly what they both are competitive teams. They both want to be top of the table at the end. Storm came into the River Murray Netball Association only a couple of years ago, so they sort of definitely want to stamp their authority. But, Imperials have been a top club within the A-grade competition for many, many years. And, they were always a keen opponent to my girls back in the early 2000s. So both teams have probably been around for a while. Storm are definitely a bit of a new-look team with the extra players they've got playing from down in Adelaide. But according to a number of conversations I've had, the game started with, you would expect, grim determination, and she was on from the first centre pass. Storm turned it around, and then Imperials had to chase their heels to try and regain the ball to get that first goal on the scoreboard for the game. But the Storm were very quick and easily counter-attacked. It sounds like it was a very willing game of attacking across the whole area of the court. Tanil Gray and Jacoba Clough for Storm were very strong in the goal ring, which would have been a real challenge for Lucy Harkness and Caitlin Kneebone from Imperials. But I believe the defenders were very strong. And as we'll know across probably most of the associations you talk to today, the wind was a big aspect of the game, and it definitely was an asset down one end of the court as opposed to the other end of the court. So I think that probably had a little bit to do with it. But Imps went into quarter time 3 goals up. The second quarter saw both teams attacking the game with quite an extensive body-on-body contest, I've been told, particularly between the centre court players. There was grim determination and, if you like, fighting for every ball. But the Storm defenders were very strong in the goal ring on Kalari Dokic and Ali Wendelborn for Imperials and started to get the upper hand. But Imps managed to stay with the game and were 4 goals up at half-time. The Storm did use a couple of their tactical swaps, and they brought the Paik sisters in together in defence, which had a massive impact on the Imperials goalies. But and Storm did get back into the game. So at 3/4 time, it was 34 goals apiece, which gave us a what I call a 15-minute game of netball for the final quarter. However, when I look at my report, it tells me that, the final quarter was determination, fight for the ball, predominantly throughout the quarter, with both showing strong attacking ball skills and shooting accuracy. And yet Storm won that quarter by 7 goals, but they're not actually telling me how they won the quarter. So a number of people have told me it was a very feisty, tough game of netball. Unfortunately for Imperials, they did lose one of their main stalwarts in Olivia Bolt. I believe this week she underwent surgery for a broken arm in what I've been told was a tangle of feet. And yet I've also heard that one player was on the court behind play. So not a association person told me that it became a quarter of hips and elbows. So I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds like the game was fought out very hardly and grimly with determination. But what actually Storm did to win one quarter by 7 goals after being down for most of the game, you'd have to think that they're going to be a very tough team for whoever to come up against in the grand finals.
What a win by the Storm, and who said it was a non-contact sport? It sounds like it was pretty chaotic there in the fourth.
Netball hasn't been non-contact for years. It's
No.
just a Mayo terms from many years ago, trust me.
Yeah, most definitely. So a big win for the Storm, a huge blow for the Imperials losing their captain, and they'll have to do things the hard way. They're going to play the Southern Suns next week in the prelim because the Suns did it easy over Mannum, 68-32. They're marching on, no troubles for the Suns there, and they're going to be a handful for the Imps next week.
Yeah, look, the Suns had a real astute understanding in their goal circles with Hannah Sexton and Emmeline Ogilvie, and the defensive pressure in the Suns of Olivia Clark and Taylor Guthrie with their rebounding and driving into attack. I mean, I love watching the Suns. They are a beautiful team of, like, they're tall across most playing positions. They know how to use their height. They back up each other so beautifully. I've spoken to a number of Mannum people since that game, and they've all told me how, yes, they lost, they're disappointed they lost, their girls tried hard. Their leader in Kelly McGorman, who has been around herself for years and years, just could not make a dent in the Suns players. And a lot of why the Suns did so well is particularly their goalies seem to handle the wind a lot better than the younger Mannum goal shooters. And it really was for them a different game both ends of the court due to this win. But Kelly McGorman, she busted her guts, tried to get the ball down to her attackers as much as she could during that full game. The starting quarter time score was Suns were 22 and Mannum was 5. Suns didn't have the impact of the win in that quarter. So when it turned around for the next quarter, Suns didn't go ahead by that many goals, and Mannum sort of went from only having 5 goals to having 16 goals. So the win was a big impact, and the Suns have seemed to be coming on really, really well right at the end of the season. I mean, the end score was 68-32. That in itself tells you when the last time these two teams met, there was only a goal in it. Now we've got a difference of like 36 goals.
Great win there by the Suns. So it's a big prelim this weekend between the Imps and the Suns at Maipolonga. The Imps will be short-handed. The Suns are rolling in off a big win. This is going to be a great game.
Being played at Maipo, I don't know whether it will make a lot of difference, but Maipo have a reasonably unique court surface. It's not like your normal run-of-the-mill bitumen surface. It's one that's got sort of, I can't say it's got padding under the court surface, but it is a court that doesn't impact on the bodies quite so much in the driving through the knees and hip area and that. So that should hopefully allow the girls to be able to reach their maximum speeds, etc. like that. How Imperials will come back from the qualifying final, I'm not too sure. I think there'll be a few sore bodies around the place from what I've heard. Not having Olivia on court is going to make a big difference from them. I looked at the player ins and outs through the season, and Imperials have utilised through their A-grade team 17 players. So it's taken them a long time to actually settle into their starting lineup. And now a big piece of that starting lineup is missing with Olivia out of the way. So I'm not 100% sure how Imperials are going to come back with that from, like, there's only 3 players in Imperials that had played every week, and Olivia was one of them. So it's going to take a bit of work by Coach Carrie Daniels and the girls themselves to settle themselves to be able to go up against a team who is appearing to hit their straps at the right time of the year. And Imperials will give away height to the Suns. So if the Suns play like they did last week against Mannum, they definitely, for the first time this season, have a really good chance of actually beating Imperials.
Big game ahead tomorrow at Maipolonga. We'll see how that one plays out. The winner gets a spot in the grand final alongside the Mallee Storm. Pat, thank you very much for that. Good luck to everyone taking the court this weekend in the River Murray Netball Association. And Pat, I look forward to getting a recap of tomorrow's prelim when we chat next Friday.
No worries, Dan. Speak to you then.